Okay, thanks. We're going to get started. So again, welcome everybody to the UFCW Local 770 General Membership Meeting for the third quarter of 2020. I will introduce the folks that we have on the panel this evening who are going to give reports about what's been going on at Local 770. So we have Nam Lei, the political director. We have Lisa Wong, who's our IT support. We have Ernesto, the interpreter, who you guys already got to hear from. We have Bertha Rodriguez, our communications director. We have Paul Edwards, the director of training programs. We have Danny Garcia, the field director. We have Rigo Valdez, the organizing director. We have Matt O'Malley, the research and collective bargaining director. We have Cindy McGinnis, who is the Kaiser lead rep. We have Jennifer Castro, who's also our also helping with technical support and our administrative whiz. And Rachel Torres, who's the deputy political director in the Department of Politics and Civil Rights. So tonight we are going to have directors' reports. We'll take questions from members. We'll also have some business to conduct, talk about the membership report, and approve the minutes and the trustees report. So we're going to start off with director reports. And so we'll just go straight to Danny Garcia, the field director.
Thank you, Kathy, and good evening to everyone. So I want to report on a new pilot program that we're going to be running here at 770. It's exciting, it's new, it's our new Food for Less and Food Co team only. So we're going to be taking 5 union reps, and they're going to focus 100% of their time with the Food for Less members to get to know our members at Food for Less and identify their issues, be able to build relationships with our Food for Less members as we continue on our Food for Less campaign. The goal of this pilot program is to identify more leaders in our membership, to train and support those leaders, support the workers to move from maybe fear into action mode, and also to address any problems and issues around COVID-19, which is safety concern, hazard pay, etc. And we hope the outcome would be to win a good contract with higher wages, parity to Ralph's contract, more hours, better schedules. So again, this is a new program, a new pilot program, and we're excited. And this will be transitioning over the next couple of weeks. So if you're work at a Food for Less, some of you have started to meet your new rep that'll be taking over in the shortcoming weeks. So we look forward to expanding on this program, on our new pilot program. Next, I want to report on Darling International as part of our packing house division. Members there were able to vote and ratify a new 3-year contract that secured them health and welfare with wages. So we want to congratulate those members on their new 3-year deal. Next, I want to report on our leadership development. We continue to have weekly leadership development with in-house staff and SPURS that are currently members who have come out of their stores and are working with the local. Some of the topics we've covered in recent weeks have been grievance handling, organizing conversations. We've had wine garden rights. So these are all tools that we're supplying our staff and our SPURS to be able to, when they go back to their store, be able to use these tools to share with their coworkers and be able to stand up and fight back against management. And last, I would like to report, we had bulletin board winners. We sent out earlier in the year bulletin board packages to all divisions, our Kaiser division, our drug division, our food and packing. And from there, we selected 3 winners. And in order to enter the drawing, you were to put up the new materials up on your bulletin board and take a picture of yourself with the bulletin board. So as we receive those photos back from you, the 3 winners that were selected were Arshana Shah from Kaiser, 0151, Amanda McCall from Route 726, and Irma Venega from Rite Aid 5528. So again, thank you for taking the time to updating your bulletin board and sending in your picture. And in return, they got a gift card, they got some masks and some hand sanitizers. So we want to thank those members for taking that time. And that's my report, Kathy.
Thank you, Danny. Next, we're going to go to Organizing Director Rigo Valdez.
Thank you, Kathy. So I'd like to report first on the Drugstore Campaign. In late May, the organizing department started collaborating with the field department and the research department to strategize a drugstore contract campaign, organizing campaign, both with Rite Aid and CVS expiring in July of 2021. It provided an opportunity to run a division-wide campaign. So we started to form a committee to advise these steps of this campaign. This month, we're starting to activate stewards to push the survey. We created a survey to start to identify issues, not just bargaining issues, but issues around COVID, so that we can start to activate our membership and start to identify leaders and activism. We created a system for tracking that activism. We have in the last months collected about 1,257 surveys. That's about 29% of the 4,400 workers that 770 represents in the drugstores. That's 32% for Rite Aid and 25% for CVS members. Our goal is to get to majority or 50% by the end of September. Our leadership development program also includes bearing down on the top 20 stores in each company and drilling down on leadership identification, recruitment, and development. So we meet with our leaders and activists in each of the CVS or Rite Aid stores on a monthly basis via Zoom. The Rite Aid Zoom will be September 15th at 7 p.m. If you'd like to be invited or you want to become active, please reach out to your representative. The one for CVS takes place on September 22nd at 7 p.m. Again, if you want to become active, you're more than welcome to join us in our monthly Zooms, where we do talk a little bit about what's happening and what our strategy is and what we need to do to address the issues concerning the drugstores at this time, especially around COVID and in preparation for building strength around bargaining. We also have our Cannabis Campaign. Our cannabis team has been bearing down on strategically executing our labor peace agreements. We've actually taken the time during COVID to reorganize the way that we look at data, the way we look at licenses, and the way that we're looking at going after the industry. We've identified 7 strategic areas where we've bared down on what it is to be a union member in the cannabis industries, including leadership development. We have a monthly meeting of stewards in the cannabis industry. If you're a cannabis industry steward or want to become involved or more active in the cannabis division, please reach out to your rep, Jess Stever, so that you can become involved in the leadership development and training within the cannabis division. We're also looking at several new shops to organize, some bottom up and others through execution of the LPA. But that is an exciting place to be right now in the cannabis industry. As you all know, it was also deemed essential during the COVID, and we've been outreached by many non-union workers who want to organize, and we're now working with them to carry that process on. So that's the organizing report, Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Rigo. And yeah, I have seen the activism in cannabis, the drug industry, and also the Food for Less campaign that Danny talked about. We have a lot of really great activists there. And so if anybody, as Rigo said on this call, wants to get more active, there are definitely places to plug in. So next, we'll have Paul Edwards give the training and development report.
All right, thank you, Kathy, and good evening, everybody. So not a lot of training and development per se, as our roles have kind of shifted during COVID. So even though that's my department, some of the training and development we've actually been doing is with the membership itself through a lot of surveying that we've done with you all to try to gain information about how the pandemic is affecting everybody, and then also trying to mobilize the development process is the mobilization part of the various campaigns that you've heard about tonight. So, and getting our membership engaged. So I'm going to report real quickly just on 4 of the programs that we've recently launched. And one of those is a comprehensive childcare survey with, due to the need for virtual school due to COVID-19, Local 770 has just recently last week participated in a coordinated effort with other unions to evaluate the concerns and needs of our essential working members with children who are remote learning, as we know that this has presented a challenge that we've never seen before for our members. So currently that survey is being assessed right now. It was sent out to all members, as I mentioned, probably about a week and a half ago. And what we're doing with that survey now is we're going to break down the analysis that we receive based on the feedback from everybody who has children doing their virtual school or online learning, and see what the needs are of our membership and what your responses are. And then based on all that information, we want to look into developing any assistance program that we need that we deem helpful for our membership. So I'd like to thank everybody who participated in that and who has a need for that type of assistance. The next thing I want to report on is our hazard pay campaign. Based on the serious outbreak of cases, exceeding anything that we've ever seen since COVID began, we're continuing our fight for hazard pay, but now we're doing it with a national campaign in concert with our international union for our members to fight for reinstatement of the hazard pay that we had at the onset of COVID. Many of you may have remembered this, but Local 770 was the first UFCW union to stress the need for hazard pay nearly 5 months ago when we did our Mask Up, we call it, campaign, where we were pushing the safety of having face masks and the protection that it provided. So we're glad to see that our early actions were recognized, and now that campaign has become a national fight that started here. Our members have been facing, increasingly harsh working conditions, not only from the virus, but now, we see instances of our members being harassed and assaulted by customers over simple protections like wearing a face mask. So what we've done is we've asked many of our members who participated very highly, they were asked to speak out via videos on social media, as well as local actions and op-ed articles in many newspapers, many of which we launched last week on our social media pages. So if you are engaged in our social media, you can go to either our Facebook page or Instagram, and you can check out some of the participation from some of our great members out there. We have one of the highest, actually, participation rates of all the messaging and mobilizations that we've sent out to our members. Nearly 10% of you engaged in some shape or form. So that's the kind of power and movement that we need to see in order to push this fight to reinstate your hazard pay. So congratulations on your turnout on that action. A couple more things that we're working through right now was about a month ago now, and on August 4th, we launched a multi-union virtual rally where we pushed out the Bill of Rights for our workers. The purpose of the rally was to unite workers across several states, Colorado, Washington, and California to be specific. And that event was highlighted on social media as well. And what we did was encourage membership from all 3 states to sign our petition to push the Workers' Bill of Rights in all 3 states. It basically gives us certain rights and protections and pay for the hazardous work that everybody's doing right now. So we encourage all of you to go and sign it if you haven't. Go to our website at ufcw770.org, and please go to where the Workers' Bill of Rights is located and sign the petition today. The last thing I want to speak on, another important issue that we were just educating our membership in LA County on last week, and that's track and trace, which is basically contact tracing for COVID. As you know, the first round of COVID, we were pretty much pushing as hard as we could testing because the testing wasn't being done, it wasn't accessible, and we feel like that we've been able to clear that hurdle with your employers as well as with the different counties. But now the next step to really trying to get a handle on COVID is being able to trace through a track and trace method. So last week we messaged this information out about contact tracing through the LA County Board of Health. Contact tracing, that's hard for me to say. So the purpose of the program is to help control the virus, as I said, through these tracing methods. And what this means is that anytime someone tests positive for COVID, the health department will call those individuals to find out who else they may have been in contact with, such as your coworkers, in order to inform those individuals who could have possibly been infected. So we want our members to know that they may be receiving this call if they tested positive, or if somebody tested positive, mentioned you as an individual who they may have been in contact with, because we want our members to cooperate with the Department of Health staff, and because it's the next step in helping us control the spread of the virus. So your cooperation is crucial to them understanding who else may have been in contact with each other when they've tested positive for COVID. So next week, we'll be focusing on some of the other counties that we represent in the Tri-County area and in Kern County, where those counties have also implemented processes through the Department of Health, a little bit different than the city of Los Angeles, or the county of Los Angeles, I stand corrected. And we'll be getting that information out to our members in the Tri-County and Kern County areas. And other than that, we'll be asking a question on messaging, but I just want to say that we appreciate everybody's feedback, the membership regarding messaging. We've put out over 1 million communications since the outbreak of COVID to our membership. And we've received well over 100,000 responses from our members, helping us gauge what's important to you out there. So we appreciate your participation, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I do want to say thanks to Paul and for being so nimble and at the very beginning of the coronavirus, shifting gears to be messaging to our members constantly, to stay connected throughout this crisis. And as Paul mentioned, we have a polling question which we're going to ask right now. So considering all the communications that you've been receiving, either texts or phone calls from UFCW 770, are you getting too little, like not enough communication, too much communication, or is it just right? So this is the Goldilocks question. Is it too little, too much, or just right? Those of you who are calling in on the phone, unfortunately, cannot vote in the polls when we're on Zoom. This is different than our previous phone system that we were using for calls, but hopefully that encourages you to learn Zoom, download Zoom, and join us on Zoom. So it looks like just right is the winner. 70% of folks are saying just right. 22% are saying too little, and 10% are saying too much. So it looks like we're putting out just the right amount of communications. So thanks, Paul. Next, we're going to go to Director of Research and newly appointed Director of Research and Collective Bargaining, Matt O'Malley.
Thanks, Kathy. Hello, everybody. I believe this is my first report to the general membership as the newly appointed Director of Research and Collective Bargaining. So I want to thank the membership, the executive board, and the leadership for giving me this opportunity. It's a tremendous point of pride for me, and I hope to do my best. Research has been informing really all of the various divisions within the union, and some of my colleagues this evening have already touched on some of the campaigns that we're working together with. But first and foremost, we've been focused throughout this pandemic on our members' safety and health. So on a daily ongoing basis, research department is maintaining a database tracking all COVID-19 infections by workplace and various demographic variables. The employer handling of the coronavirus pandemic has been completely inexcusable and tragic. As of today, UFCW 770 employers have confirmed that 1,170 of our members have tested positive for COVID-19. So we are cooperating and working together closely with all of the county public health departments, Cal OSHA, and the California Attorney General's office to make sure that clusters infections are reported promptly and demand that employers provide our members with safe workplaces. With respect to retail food, the research department has primarily been focused on Kroger because in March of 2021, our agreement covering, our Master Southern California agreement covering Food for Less will expire. So as our members have borne the brunt of the coronavirus pandemic in terms of their safety and health, CEOs and investors have enjoyed an absolute financial windfall. The Kroger company, which is Food for Less's parent, has seen its profits increase from $775 million during the first quarter of 2019 to $1.2 billion in the first quarter of 2020. The company's cash on hand rose from $400 million a year ago to $2.7 billion at the end of May of this year. Now, at the same time, this company has been reporting this financial bonanza to its investors and executives. It took away the $2 hazard pay from our members. So the Food for Less store 770, no relation in Los Angeles, now has the highest number of infected workers of all 770 represented retail stores and all grocery stores throughout Southern California. So the research department has been working very closely with the rest of the campaign, the field campaign, and the organizing work, supporting the new pilot project to make sure that we have a plan ready to win and demand some of that outrageous amount of money that the company has been raking in for itself be shared with our membership. In retail drug, next summer, our master agreements with both CVS and Rite Aid are set to expire. So we're trying to get out early ahead of the game and developing a comprehensive game plan, understanding what's going on at both of the companies at the corporate and financial level to ensure that our resources are deployed strategically. On the bargaining front, we're not waiting around for the contract expiration to take on some of the recent changes that have gone down at Rite Aid. The company has recently implemented new self-scan checkout at some of its checkout counters. And in addition to that, they are, one second here, my notes. We've demanded bargaining over their new schedule, their so-called offstage scheduling process, which is being implemented in the stores as of August 4th and impacting our members' schedules and access to hours on the job. Lastly, in cannabis, we have started the process of negotiations with California Caregivers Alliance. It is our first attempt at actually trying to negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement through Zoom. We met with the company for the first time last Thursday and submitted a comprehensive proposal that includes wage increases, for the first time ever, employer-paid health insurance, and an extremely comprehensive and detailed policy designed to prevent sexual harassment on the job, which we hope will become the new standard throughout the cannabis industry. So lastly, we continue to build new partnerships with employers and applicants throughout our jurisdiction who have made commitments to respect workers' rights by entering into labor peace agreements with our union. And recently we negotiated an LPA with an affiliate of Cookies for the city of Oxnard, which is a brand with national ambitions in the cultivation and retail spaces. So that's it for the research report. I'm happy to take anyone's questions. And again, I thank you for your support and look forward to a long and prosperous career here as Director of Research at UFCW.
Thanks, Matt, and we're happy to have you in that spot, particularly me. So I neglected to make a very important announcement at the beginning of this call. So some of you may be wondering, where is President John Grant? Why is he not here? So I do want to say that John is on a very well-deserved vacation. He's been working long hours, 7 days a week. Literally, he's at the office from I can never get there earlier than him. Before 7 a.m. he's there generally till after 7 p.m. at night, day in and day out. And even on the days that he takes vacation, he's out visiting stores. So he is on vacation. He's probably out visiting members even during his vacation. But so that's why John Grant isn't here, and I should have announced that at the get-go. So I'm sorry. So now you don't have to wonder anymore, where is John Grant? So next we have another new director position or lead position. I think director, but of our communications division, which is Bertha Rodriguez, who will be giving the report on communications.
Thank you, Kathy, and good evening to everyone who's listening. My name is Bertha Rodriguez, and similar to what Matt's case, this is going to be my first report to all of you. And I'm lucky enough to have a great and amazing team who are working with me. It's Colin Messicar, Michelle Ward, and also Paul Edwards. And we also have the ECHO team, who is a team of staff members who have been working very intensively to provide information to all of you, information that is relevant. And they've been functioning as a rapid response network to provide information for you, especially during these times of COVID-19. And we are also coordinating with the heads of departments. Some of you, I already had the opportunity to exchange some information regarding different initiatives and also campaigns, but others we're still on the talks. And I'm very glad that we'll have this opportunity to receive information to be able to share with you all. And this month we're working with the outreach colleagues to celebrate the National Coming Out Day, to raise awareness around the rights of our LGBTQ fellow union members in their workplaces. And the National Coming Out Day is observed on October 11 of this year. And so the communications department is supporting this event with promoting it on social media, and potentially we're going to work with earned media as well to be able to get the word out, and also for you to participate as well. The communications team is also working to put together an essential worker tribute for those members who have passed away due to COVID-19. And we would like to do this event on the Day of the Dead, and also pay homage to those who have fallen ill on the front lines. And we're planning on doing this event on November 1st. And hopefully many of you can join us also. And in regards to the external component, external communications, we've been working with Berlin Rosen, which is a communications consulting firm. And they've been assisting us and getting earned media coverage regarding different initiatives as well, and obtaining coverage to different rallies, petitions, delivery, and actions in front of stores with COVID outbreaks. And some of these actions took place at Food for Less 770, where the members' actions made the city of LA deploy pop-up testing sites at the store. And also we've been working with in coalition with other labor organizations, such as the Los Angeles Federation of Labor, around the issue of health and safety councils. And some of our members from packing from Overhill Farms, they participated in different press conferences, doing interviews with media. And also we've been producing materials around hazard pay as part of the National Day of Action. We did that campaign on September 3rd. And we also produce materials such as short videos about Labor Day and hazard pay, as I said. And I would like to thank you all for this opportunity. And I thank you for all the hard work you do every day. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Bertha. So next we're going to hear our political report. But just before we get to that, I just want to talk about just one thing about, like where we find ourselves right here on September 8th, 2020, in the midst of this pandemic and what's been a really horribly challenging 6 months. I know for all essential workers and all grocery workers and healthcare workers and packing house workers, cannabis workers, just all of the members of this union have been deemed essential and have worked throughout this pandemic, and we're less than 2 months away from probably one of the most consequential elections, certainly in my lifetime. And I know we say that all the time, but this time, this time, I mean, I can say this time we really mean it, but no, this time it is really the most consequential. And I just want to say one thing, and this is a daily thing, so it's day in and day out, being bombarded with, anti-worker, legislation and things from the federal government. But on late Friday, right before the beginning of Labor Day weekend, the Trump administration waged a huge attack on all workers. I won't really go into the details, but made it much more difficult to organize a union, a new union, for any worker who wants to organize a union. So it's already difficult in the way that our legal system is set up to join a union. So many unions and employers have been not going around the system, but have been agreeing to a fair process for recognizing workers' desires to join a union, because even many employers recognize that the current process that the government has set up has many, many barriers to joining a union. So many unions and employers have agreed to a process that's more fair. And the federal government on Friday, basically they issued a memo, it's not really in a particular case or anything, but just a memo saying that they think that it's illegal for people to create a fair and neutral process for workers to choose whether they want to be part of a union. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details about this, but just to say that this is one of the most horrific attacks, and there's so many of them, it's hard to say, but I think that the administration is thinking, their time may be running short, and they're trying to figure out what things they can do in the remaining time they have to make the playing field much more difficult for workers. So I just wanted to mention that before I introduce our political team, our crack political team here. And Nam sent me a text letting me know that Rachel's going first. So I'm going to introduce Deputy Political and Civil Rights Director, Rachel Torres.
Thanks, Kathy. Hi, everyone. Good to be with all of you this evening. You've heard a lot of information from all of us, so I will keep it as brief as possible, but I want to stress and reiterate that all of the work that we do in politics and policy, whether it's to pass policy for health and safety or to elect folks who respect you, your dignity, your rights, the ideas that we have come from you. This whole COVID-19 stretch has been shaped around what you need. When you share with your rep, with your organizer, with your shop steward, what's going on in the shop, we hear about it. When you share on these calls, your questions, we learn from you, and we try to craft policy that respects and uplifts your health and safety. That's our most primary concern. And, you know, these past 3 months that we're talking about have been some of the most intense months of COVID, because as folks remember, when the shelter in place was working, infection rates in our stores were going down. And once the stores, once shops, once restaurants, once businesses started to reopen, we saw a direct uptick in infections. And so really these past 3 months that we're talking about are a reflection of the hardest months probably some of you have ever faced. But your courage, your leadership, your pushing inside of the shop is what inspires us every day to get the work done that we need to. So, you know, as Bertha and others mentioned, the folks at the Food for Less 770, 23 of, I believe the 26 to 28 infections that happened inside the store happened after June 1st. So it was because of your leadership, it was your hard work. You made phone calls, you talked to your shop steward, you pressed the county and the city responded with on-site testing. We realized from that experience, from your courage, your leadership, that all stores deserve that if there's an outbreak of 3 or more infections in any store in the city of Los Angeles in a 2-week period, there needs to be reporting to the city and there needs to be on-site testing. So that's a policy that we're currently moving through LA City Council. I'm also very inspired by the meatpacking workers who saw a very high uptick in the early months of COVID-19, massive infections inside the plant. But what did you and your coworkers do? You organized, you formed what we call a public health council, and you sat down with your employer and you discussed what you needed and you fought for that. And you've seen infection rates go down significantly. Just like at the Food for Less store, where only 1 new infection has happened since we've had 2 on-site testings. So because of your work inside of meatpacking, we are trying to expand that all around LA County with a public health council, where workers sit at the table with their employer and talk about the health and safety measures they need to protect themselves inside the store, inside retail, inside hospitals, inside any place where infection rates are high. And the other piece of it that we're really excited about is the leadership that our members are taking and some of our staff are taking to raise awareness, get out the vote, get our members registered to vote, and get them informed and organized around swing states. Because as folks remember, historically, we would go to Nevada, we would go to other cities, we would all get on the bus and we'd knock on doors and we'd talk to folks. We can't do that under COVID-19, but that hasn't stopped us. So what we're doing now is we're talking member to member, vote by vote, person by person, getting our folks registered in our region as well as across the country. And you know, it's going to be union members who win this election. A lot of union members decided not to vote in 2016. There was a feeling of I don't know, just what's the point, right? Voting is useless, it doesn't make a difference. We know what Kathy shared, what Rigo shared, what Danny shared, what Matt shared, all of that has a result on our lives. So we have to get out and vote, we have to be involved, and we have to talk to our coworkers about it. We're gonna be putting out some information in the very near future of our endorsement list. We've been hard at work interviewing candidates up and down the Central Coast and throughout LA County, Kern County as well. We want to make sure that you know who 770 endorses and why they should be supported. With that, I'm going to hand it over to my fantastic colleague, Nam Lei, who handles all the things in Sacramento and has won a great deal of wins for our union.
Thank you, Rachel. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being on, and thank you for all of you for all you do. You truly are heroes, and I want to just continue to say that, because in the work that Rachel and I do is we take the real life stories of our membership. We take your challenges, your hardships, the risk you take every day to go and serve your community, and we take those realities and we translate that to elected officials and community leaders and demand and ask that they stand with you and fight for you. And what are we fighting for? A safety net. Frontline workers is something that I think our union, you defined. hazard pay, you defined that. And it's important that we continue to remind folks who have the ability to make changes, to vote on very important issues that become laws. At the end of the day, if it's not the law, I think it's very hard for us to have a real understanding what our rights are. What's the law? What are our rights? And how do we enforce the law? So that's what's going on in Sacramento. Most recently, the session just completed. It's a year-long session. And this year, our focus was health and safety for our membership, for you, a safety net, to know that when you get sick, that you will have 2 weeks sick pay. You have that through an executive order. To know that if you get further sick and you need workers' comp, there is an action and a place to go. But I think all those things that are in place need to become laws. So the first thing that we focused on was figuring out what are the most priority COVID-19 issues that impact you in the workplace. I think the first thing is reporting. When someone gets sick at the workplace, who should know, who should be notified, and there's no law for it. There's no rule for it. There's no process. Every store, every manager manages it differently. And we want to make sure that there's one unilateral standard policy or protocol. And what we have before you today to announce is that AB 685 is on the governor's desk. I'll repeat that. Assembly Bill 685 is on the governor's desk. It's something we're very proud of. Every worker in California would benefit from this when there's a illness in the store. When someone gets sick, the state should be notified, the county, and the union. I think it's important to know when someone is tested positive COVID-19. It's something that we all should be aware of and understand what to do in that situation. So hopefully the governor will sign this legislation. We're gonna ask all of our allies and all of our supporters to lean on the governor. We may ask you to voice your concern to the governor so he can listen to grocery workers, drugstore workers. It's really important, and meatpacking workers. It's very important to understand that what happens on the local level, the city and county, that we have that in a statewide effort. It can't just be isolated in LA City. It has to be in the Central Coast. It has to be LA County. It has to be statewide. This virus does not know any boundaries. It doesn't stop in LA and Orange County or Northern California. This virus is everywhere, and we have to make sure that we have standard rules across the board. So moving on to the next item that's very important is sick leave. We know that 2 weeks is not enough. We know many workers and many of our members need more than 2 weeks. So we're unable to move sick leave this year. We wanted to get an additional 2 weeks for you. So if you had gotten sick 2 weeks prior in the last 3-4 months, you get another 2 weeks. We're gonna go back in January and fight for that additional 2 weeks for you, because we know some folks need more than 2 weeks. So that's a continuous fight. But I just want to reassure you, sick leave is something we're not giving up on. The third item is workers' comp. Right now, workers' comp, it's a little complicated, but I'll be brief. If someone does get sick in the workplace, we want to make sure that there is assistance, there is identification of the need. So AB 685 works closely with another bill that would focus on workers' comp. All these things have to be signed by the governor. It's not done yet. I just want to give you an update. I want to keep you engaged. We need you to keep fighting, keep telling your story, keep responding to us when we ask, because your stories are so important. So I just want to sum it up. We're here to ensure there's a safety net. So when you get sick, there's a reporting mechanism. When you get sick, you have 2 weeks sick pay. And when you get sick, there is workers' compensation assistance. So those are the three things that we'll continue to work on. Hopefully at the next general membership meeting, we'll report on what bills were signed. But lastly, I just want to emphasize something very important. For the first time in my career and being part of this union, going on my 10th year, I just want to acknowledge how proud I am of all of you and our union, because this election cycle is probably one of the most important elections we'll have in our lifetime. And I guarantee you, we keep telling you that every election cycle. This is the most important election, please vote. But on this election in particular, with so many things we must do, from the presidential down ticket, I want to share with you that grocery workers, retail workers, drugstore workers are now polling in such high favorability, in the high 90 percentile. So when we speak And when we endorse a candidate and we support an issue, the community and the voters are with us. You are with us, they're with us. So I just want you to know we have incredible influence. We must use that to continue to protect retail workers in all sectors, all of our fellow citizen brothers in the labor movement who are frontline workers. We're not alone, but I just want to reassure you that change is coming. We have to be a part of it. And I'm proud to represent all of you. Rachel and I do our best. She keeps me going. Rachel, thank you for keeping us focused. And I want to hand it back over to Kathy. And thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Rachel and Nam. I know you guys have been doing so much work throughout this pandemic, and we really appreciate it. Before we get to Cindy to give us a really quick report on Kaiser, I do want to let folks know that if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. And this is for folks who are on the Zoom. You can put them in the chat, or there's also a Q&A box where you can ask questions. If we have time, we're going to get to live member questions as well. Or you can raise your hand in the participant screen. You click on participants and there's a place to raise your hand if you have a question, as well as for those who are on the phone, I think can raise their hand by pressing *9 on your phone. However, we're trying to make this meeting only last an hour, so we're really down to about 10 or 11 minutes left, so we're not going to have a lot of time to get to questions. So best to put your question in the chat or in the Q&A box, and we'll try to answer it there. Or if we don't get to you, somebody will give you a call tomorrow to answer your questions, because we still have a little bit of business even after we finish the reports, a bit of business to conduct. So I'm going to go to Cindy McGinnis now, who's our lead Kaiser rep, and let her give a real quick Kaiser report. Then we'll do some business, and then hopefully we'll get to a few questions.
Good evening. I hope all of you are staying cool this evening. I just want to report out real quick. We are starting our processes for national bargaining next year. We have met as a alliance several times to identify what major areas that we want to focus on. They have not been completed as of yet. We have another meeting next week that I think we should have our priorities in place, but just know that we are working on them. Kaiser's crying the blues that they don't have any money and they don't have any members coming. However, this year they had a record-breaking membership year and a record-breaking money year. So we are fighting for you guys, and more to come.
Thank you. That's your, okay, thank you. That was a great short report. Awesome. Okay, so quickly I'm going to try to get through the business, and hopefully we'll have just a few minutes for questions after that. So the first thing is the monthly membership report. Oops, wait. Why did this poll show up? Wait. I can't. Lisa, this poll came up and I can't get rid of it on my thing. Sure. Lisa, do you know why this poll showed up on my thing?
No, I don't. Should I relaunch the poll now?
No, we're not doing a poll right now.
Okay, I don't know why it showed up on your thing.
Okay, because I can't read the membership report because it's blocking and I can't make it go away.
There's nope.
Okay, I closed it. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, and now I can't even open the membership report. Okay, I'm going to go to a different report because somehow I can't open the membership report, but so hang on. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go to the trustees report and I'll get to the, well, actually, first we'll do the minutes. Okay, so the minutes of the general membership meeting, the last meeting from June 9th, 2020, are available to be read, and I can read them to you, which will take a long time, or, as has been the custom, we can take a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve everything therein.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so there's been a motion and a second to waive the reading of the minutes and approve everything therein. In order to vote, now we have a poll to launch. We're going to put up a poll that asks you, for those who are on the Zoom, if you approve the motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve the minutes from June 9th. So now, Lisa, can you put up that poll?
Is it can you see it?
Yeah, now I can see it. Okay, so although there's 3 questions there. Okay, so just vote on the first one, which is yes to approve the minutes, or no if you don't want to approve the minutes. We'll give everybody a minute to vote. Okay. I'll give you 5 more seconds to vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, was approved by 95%. So the motion passes. Then next is the trustees report. Oh, here I can go back. Now I can see the membership report. Thanks for fixing that. So in the food division, so this is the membership report for the month of August 2020. In the food division, we had a decrease of 7 members. In the drug division, we had a decrease of 23 members. In the general sales division, it was a push. In the professional division, we had an increase of 2 members. There was no change in the barbers division or the beauty culturist division. In the meat cutters, there was an increase of 17. Meat packing, an increase of 22. In cannabis, there was a decrease of 19. So in the total, we currently have 31,981 members, which is a decrease of 8 from July. And we have a lot of members out on LOA. So there are 1,774 members on withdrawal status due to LOA. That report is just for information. It does not have to be approved. Next, I'm going to go to the trustees report quickly, which is the report of the finances of the local. So this is the trustees report from January 1, 2020 to July 31, 2020. We had a beginning balance of $28,495,942. During that time, the first 7 months of the year, we had income of $11,592,624, which was made up mostly of dues income of $10,283,912, fees and assessments of $559,406, rent income of $422,764, investments and interest income of $251,390, and other cash receipts of $75,151. Expenses during that time totaled $13,480,319, which was made up of per capita tax. That's the money that we pay to the International Union of $3,812,169, Operating expenses, including salaries of $8,538,910. Professional expenses of $980,203. Organizing and negotiation expenses of $143,091. Hardship expenses, which is money that goes to members who are experiencing hardships, of $4,901, and other disbursements of $1,045. We also are due reimbursement from the trust fund of $559,537 for an ending balance at July 31st, 2020 of $27,167,784. Is there a motion to accept the trustees' report?
So moved.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. So let's put up the poll so people can vote to approve. The motion is to, actually, is there any discussion on the matter? Seeing none. Can you put up the poll so folks can vote?
Can I just, the polls, I linked the trustee report with the investment report. So we're only voting on the trustee report right now?
Yep. Okay, so this is the second one where it says trustee report is what we're voting on, even though it looks like we're voting on multiple things. So if you approve the trustees report, if you approve the motion to accept the trustees report, vote yes. Give folks a few, just a minute to log in their votes. Okay, I see votes are still coming in. Okay, 5 more seconds. I'm going to count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, close the vote. It was accepted by 91%. So the motion passes. So let's see. The last thing is the investment report. For the month of August, there were, let's see, during that time, during the month of August, Local 770 paid down government and agency securities in the amount of $59,068.87, purchased a corporate bond in the amount of $124,502.50, purchased various common stock in the amount of $80,908.26, and sold common stock in the amount of $66,048.44. So that's the investment transactions for the month of August. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, having been moved and seconded, are there any comments or questions on the investment report? Seeing none, I'll ask Lisa to put up the poll so people can vote to approve the motion. So this is the motion. This is the third motion. They're linked, but we're only voting now on the third one, which is at the bottom. The investment report to accept. Or reject the motion. Okay, votes are still coming in. Give people a minute. Okay, 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll close the vote. And it looks like it was accepted by 95%, so the motion passes. Thank you all. So that concludes the business that we had to do. It is now 8 o'clock. I think there are several questions in the chat. I think some people are trying to answer them. We will get in touch with you if we can. I think there was one person that had a hand raised, but I don't see it anymore. So let me see. I thought I saw a hand. Oh no, there's 2 people with hands raised. So we'll just take the 2 people that have their hands raised. We'll take questions from them real quick, and then we'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. So the first one is from someone who does not have a name, but it's, well, don't want to say your number out loud to all these people, but well, I guess I'm going to have to. You have a 213 number, and I'm trying to unmute you. Let's see. Hello? Hi. I think your number, it's 213. It ends in 9191.
That is correct. Hi, Kathy. I missed you.
Hi, how are
It's Edward from store 39 in Miracle Mile.
Okay, hi.
Hi, how you doing? I missed you guys. I haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, Eddie. Hi, Eddie. It's good to hear you.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's good to be with you guys. Hey, I got a question for you. I've been having problems with health issues. At work, I went to hospitals like Olympia Medical Center, Cedars-Sinai. You know, I've been having flu. What is going on with me, Kathy?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, Eddie. So I wish I knew, and I wish I could help you, but I'm not a doctor. But, you know, I think, you know, best for you to talk to an expert about your health.
Yeah, I already talked to the doctor, and I already talked to my boss, and they said that I have to take it easy for a while. And my question is, do I need to rest more, or do I get my Social Security? What do I do?
So it sounds like if the doctor tells you you need to rest, then you need to rest. So you need to take it easy, Eddie, until you're feeling better. And yeah, if you have Social Security, that sounds good. And you know what? I think we'll have somebody call you tomorrow because this meeting is running short. We'll have somebody contact you tomorrow, Eddie, to have a longer conversation, okay?
Oh, you got it, Kathy. Good talking to you.
Okay, miss you, Eddie. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, and so the next one is, we'll take one more question from those who have their hands up, is Julia Castro. Hi, Julia.
Kathy, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
Kind of choking right here. No, the reason I was calling in was because today actually with my union reps, I was actually passing out face masks and, you know, talking about the contract. I actually got one of my coworkers in the Zoom call right now, but she was coming to me because I'm now the store steward for my store. And she was telling me that she feels treated unfair because she feels that other coworkers have favoritism because they bring food to the managers and stuff like that. And I don't know how do I go about helping her in that situation.
And so you're saying the issue is that a coworker of yours feels that other coworkers are getting favoritism from the manager because they bring food to the manager?
Yeah, because she gets, while the other one is just skating by her workload, the other one is getting constantly bombarded with work. Do this, do that, do the sweep, do go bags, do this. And The other one is just sweeping, taking her time, and she takes longer breaks, longer lunches. And when she goes over a couple of minutes, they're already getting mad at her, saying, "Why are you taking so long?" But they don't say anything to the other coworker. And she always says, "Well, I've been here 16 years and I could take as long as I want." You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is a very frequently used, probably the oldest one in the book, tactic of employers to separate workers from each other, is to play favorites, right? That's how they separate the workers, because workers only get power by joining together and supporting one another, right? And
Correct.
the way that they can keep people separated is to play favorites and play people off one against the other. So I would say, it's a long process of, earning people's trust and, getting the coworkers to bond together, because some people, and there may be some that never change, they're always going to want to kiss up to the boss, to be a favorite. But to gain real power, workers need to join together. So it can be a long process. I think you have to, talk to the folks, both the favorites and the unfavorites, to try to have conversations with them and get to know them and try to build trust amongst the workers together. Because the only way to really gain power is to not allow the employer to create those divisions amongst us. And that's what they're doing. It's the oldest play in the book, to give favors to this one and give favors to this one, so everybody's beholden to the boss and we don't, join together to create the power that's needed to really make lasting change.
Yeah, because she's actually in here. I was actually able to get, because I know last time I was talking about nobody wanted to do the surveys. I actually was able to get 4 people to do the survey, and at least I got 1 person from my store to actually join in the Zoom. So for me, that's just like a win for me, because I'm like, at least slowly, but I'm getting them moving.
Congratulations, Julia. That's great. I know you've been working so hard to try to bring your coworkers together. And I know we talked about it on the last call that you were on. And that's awesome that you're making progress.
What I really wanted to say, I know before, because I know you guys have to go, is when the president comes back from vacation, is there any way that you guys could come to our store, to talk to the other coworkers and employees, just so they could see that he's not too big for us and he wants to help us? Because that's what I've been getting a lot of comments. He don't care about us. He's over there, we're over here. He's never gonna come to us.
Well, yeah, so definitely will, I can't speak for John, but I can speak for myself, and I will definitely make time to come visit your store. And I'm sure he will too. He visits, stores all the time. So I appreciate the work that you're doing, Julia, and it sounds like your coworkers are coming around to appreciate it too. So someone will definitely be out to visit your store.
I would appreciate it, because they just need a little bit more boost.
Yep. Thank you, Julia, for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I know there are other people waiting with questions, but we can't get to all of the questions. There's kind of a lot of reports. There's so much going on. And, but those of you who are, have your hand up with a question, somebody will definitely give you a call tomorrow. And we appreciate everybody being on the call. We know these are really, really difficult times for everyone. And we need to stick together so that we can get through this. And I thank you everyone for being on. And I particularly want to thank all the panelists for giving great reports. And thank you to the interpreters for interpreting. And we'll talk to you all soon.